Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Knicks Weekly presented by Manscaped. CP the franchise, Alex Ratarsa, Stratocaster in the building. Let's get those likes up. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Tough week, man. This is the weekly recap show where we go through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the week that was for the New York Knicks. Last week, I predicted a 3-0 sweep on the week, and boy, was I wrong as the Knicks go 0-3. Two close ones, though. You know, the Battle of New York, who came down to the wire. The return match against the Bulls came down to the wire, and then an absolutely embarrassing loss against the Denver Nuggets at home. So 0-3, 11-12 on the campaign, and now the Knicks embark on a 3-game road trip, trying to get back on track. Al, just give me your thoughts on, the week that was. What were your overall impressions from this past week?
You saw some good, some bad, some ugly.
Yeah.
I think when you go back and you look at the Nets game, there was more good. You can argue about the refs missing the Harden call, Kevin Durant double dribble. But for the most part, when you're competing with a top contender like that, you get a lot of good. You saw the effort from Julius Randle. You saw from everybody else. There was good stuff. Chicago Bulls, it started off ugly, but you could say, hey, they fought their way back into a tightly contested game where they could have won and probably should have won, just for some poor late game execution. But it's so hard to keep fighting from being down 20 points to then try to win a game. So you can understand where the exhaustion came in, because you saw Mitch losing it. You saw Randall miss the free throws and had that costly turnover. And just everyone else, especially like Alec Burks, who was getting tired, getting gassed down the stretch. But then you get to the Denver Nuggets game, and that was just awful. It was like okay in the beginning, but then it just turned awful. So from this week, it's a mixed bag. There's still a lot of stuff that you got to see the New York Knicks need to work out, but it's nothing that you can hang your hat on. But is there moments to get low? Sure, but overall, you faced two of the top teams in the East, came up short, had a very poor outing against the Nuggets. This is where you look to get back on track this upcoming week. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think overall it's just me searching and I sound like Thibs when he says searching, but just trying to understand why this team can't play 48 minutes of hoops. Like, I understand basketball is a game of runs, but it's the way that they find themselves down that kind of has me concerned. A lot of it is lack of effort. It's sloppy play. It's turnovers. It's a lack of intensity, as the coach has said in the past. And each of these games, the Nets game, they battle, but then they found themselves down 16 in the third. Again, lack of effort, slow moving, no pace, no sense of urgency. And they almost get ran out the building. They come back and make a game of it and lose at the free throw line. The Bulls game, by halftime, they're down by damn near 18. Okay, they come back, they show some fight. But each time, you have to exert double the energy just to get back in this thing. And then you got to be perfect down the stretch to try to win it. And then the Nuggets game, you have an undermanned Nuggets team. I think they only had 11 active players. Yes, the Joker's the Joker. He's the MVP. He's great. Love him as a player. He's incredible to watch, given, how he looks and how he moves out there. So skilled. But again, a lot of it, effort, falling asleep on defense, not rushing out to your shooters, turning Zeke Naji into Ray Allen. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things, it's just hard. It's hard to get around. On the positives, when I look at the Nets game, I like the intensity for 3 out of the 4 quarters. I like Julius's defense. KD's KD, but I thought Julius tried his best to play him tough. I liked what I saw from Burks. There were a lot of things to like there. Fournier shooting the ball a little bit better this week. Right? 5 of 12 from the field against the Nets, 13 points. 6 of 14 against the Bulls. 6 of 14 against Denver. Obviously, that should be the norm for him. But since he's been struggling all year, he you lower the expectations a little bit and look at these things as wins, because he's been pretty bad for most of the year, especially on the defensive end. But offensively, he's come around. So, overall, disappointing, especially with the lack of effort at times. But this is where we are, man. 11-12, still soul searching, still early, but eventually could be getting late early, as Yogi Berra once said. So they got to pick it up and pick it up fast.
Love the Yogi Berra.
Yeah, shout out to Yogi, man. Yankees, let's go.
Great Yankee legend right there. Hey, man, what happens when you get to a fork in the road?
You go straight. wait. Did he say pick it up or go straight?
I think he said you pick it up.
You pick it up. Yeah, man. Shout out to Yogi, man, for sure. But this is where we find ourselves at this crossroads. And so Thibs got back on he was back on the podium today with the media. Had some interesting things to say. So let me get to the Thibs sound bites here. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Let me get to the Thibs sound bites where he talked about potential changes, and then he also talked about RJ. So hang on, let's get to Thibs.
You have everybody healthy at this point?
Yes.
After looking at film and being in here today, what do you see defensively in that Denver game to let them get home?
Well, we didn't play well, so we have to, you look at, you confront the facts. And so, the first half, we started the game slowly, but then you come back and, we let go of the rope. It's a 6-point game with 6 minutes to go in the third, and we're at home. We got to find a way to win that game. So, it was good to get back and get to work. And so, refocus, re-energize, recommit. That's what we have. Different combinations, and if things could be done better. So, but I'm good.
Do you expect to make any lineup changes tomorrow night?
We could, yeah.
You know what they will be?
Yeah. Well, I'm still mulling it over. So.
But in terms of just trying to narrow it down, Burks, you still want to see more in that Cody?
Yeah, and again, that. All these guys are interchangeable, so they've played with both groups. So it's we'll get a look at some things.
Tom of the year.
All right, so he says we could see some lineup changes. Could see some lineup changes. What did you make of his comments? And if you were the coach, where would you go?
I think it's hard for him not to say that he needs to make changes. You're 23 games into the season. Your team's now 1 game under 500. The team has been sputtering. You're looking for some consistency on offense and defense. So I understand why Thibs is saying we got to make changes, especially when it's different from last season, where you could say, hey, we didn't have a lot of talent last season, so we had to stick with the guys that we had. And you also had Obi, Emmanuel quickly, they're rookies, so you can't really rely on them. This season, you've supposedly upgraded with Kemba and Evan Fournier over Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock. Emmanuel quickly and Obi Toppin are in their second year. You've seen the improvements from both of them, so you can rely on them more. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense where he says you got to change, because if you've upgraded and your upgrades aren't working and they've been somewhat worse than what that was going on last season, you can't keep it running. You cannot keep running with that.
Yeah. So
I understand that. If I'm the coach and I'm looking for changes, I think I got to look at the center position, because both of our centers haven't been consistent with regards to rim protection, closing out on guys, especially when you look at Jokic and you look at Vooch, where they're taking wide open threes and you're giving them too much space. And you see Mitchell Robinson laboring, looks like he's gasping for air at times. And then you'll get Nerlens Noel, who looks to be lost at times and hasn't gotten to rhythm. Maybe that knee is bothering him. Don't know what it is, but he hasn't fully gotten to rhythm yet. I'd go back to Taj, because Taj was giving you productive minutes early in the season and was very good at the beginning of the season. He was guarding guys, quick on his feet, making the proper rotations, communicating effectively, guiding guys and where everyone needs to go, making the easy bunnies, making the easy buckets that were given to him. So that would be one change I go to until you get Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel back on track, because you need something consistent there. Sure, he might not give you the rim protection that these guys can give you, but just some sort of stability, especially on the defensive side, is what you need. When it comes to another change I could see moving Evan Fournier to the bench and putting Quentin Grimes in the starting unit, because if we look at what Reggie Bullock gave us last season and you say, hey, we had a guy who was 3-and-D, focused on either taking the shots that was created for him, whether it was the two-man game from Julius Randle or when he was open. Quentin Grimes has shown that he can do that type of stuff. Also, he's been really good on defense. He's been a dog. He's been after it. So I would want him too to give us that defensive effort, especially if you were praising Reggie Bullock last season. And he was not a lockdown defender by any stretch, but he did take on the difficult assignments night in and night out and was ready to cover those guys and gave good effort on a nightly basis. Why not go to Quentin Grimes, who looks to hustle, be diving, be fighting as best as he can to stay in front of his man? I know some people are going to ask me, why not Emmanuel Quickley? I like Quickley off the bench and keeping him paired with Derrick Rose. I like having him off ball. I think if you're moving Emmanuel Quickley up into the starting rotation, I want him to look more as the point guard, and I look more towards Alec Burks. And I don't know how I could see it, but then do you want to put Evan Fournier on the bench and then have Derrick Rose? And now you're just doing a lot of changes where you're splitting up Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickley, who've been a great tandem as a backcourt. And I don't want to change it too much because you want some sort of consistency. I'm not against Emmanuel Quickley. It's the question of how much change would affect this team overall. And so that's why I would probably keep Emmanuel Quickley on the bench with Derrick Rose, but still have him in crunch time minutes towards the end of games.
So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. CP, the franchise, Alex Rotaro's in here. Knicks weekly recap show. Let's get those likes up. What do you guys think, man? Call us up. The number's right here, 657-383-1509. What changes would you make? Maybe there could be some lineup changes on the way. We don't know. Thibs is saying it's a possibility. What changes would you make? Call us up on the phones or hit us up on the Knicks Fan TV Discord. I want to hear from you guys and hear what you guys have to say on this matter. Ari in the chat said, are we taking calls? Of course we're taking calls. This wouldn't be Knicks Fan TV without taking calls. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Eddie SFL in the chat. He said, what happened to JD? Yo, listen, man. JD took all your burger money and ran off with it, man. I don't know. We can't find him. We have no idea where he's at, people. But, yeah, this is what I'm hearing. The streets came back to me, let me know. They said they seen him. People are saying they seen him out in the streets. He took the burger money, and we can't find him right now. So I apologize to the people. We'll get this situation rectified, man. And you know, when he turns up, he turns up. Shout out to the guy in the chat that said I was late for the show because I was charging up my Manscaped. Yes, sir. Obviously, you know this show is presented by Manscaped. Go out there and get yours today. Get your Lawnmower 4.0, fellas. Tell your lady, man, this is the Christmas gift that you guys need, man. Go to manscaped.com, enter promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Great stocking stuffer, no pun intended. All right, here's the change I would make. I don't really think he's gonna make a change, honestly. I don't really think he's making a change. Just, you know, listening to that presser over and over again, I wasn't confident he was gonna make a change. He just made the change with Burks. The whole Kemba thing, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. I don't necessarily think they handled that in the best way, because yes, I understand the numbers didn't look good with Kemba, but. And I also understand the fact that you put him on the bench. Now you have to figure out him, Quickly, Rose, that whole dynamic, who plays, who doesn't. So it gets a little bit hairy there. And then I also think that they made that declaration steadfast to kind of keep Berman and all them from asking questions every night. Why isn't Kemba playing? But at the same time, this team isn't good enough to make that declaration either. So it's a tricky situation. And we're going to get to the Kemba quotes in a little bit. But overall, the Kemba thing, I'm not sure if it was handled in the best way. Where I would go if he's going to make the change, I don't like Burks running the point. I've said that when they made the change, and you guys know Burks is my guy. I don't like Burks running the point. I think you take away from too much of what his true role is on this team, and that is to go out and get buckets. For me, I'm putting Fournier on the bench. And again, I don't think they do this, but I'm putting Fournier on the bench, and I'm bringing Quickly in at the point. I'm bringing Quickly, Burks. I'm leaving RJ in the starting lineup. Despite his struggles, he's still your best wing defender. I'm leaving RJ, Julius, Mitch. I'll get Obi in there for Mitch. You run a little bit with Julius and Obi. Then I bring in Rose. I have Rose, Quickly, RJ running. You know, you still want RJ running with that second unit. So you can still get that. But I'm putting Quickly because I want to know if he can handle that position. Is he ready for that role? What does the future hold for him? Is it in that starting lineup? Is it more of as a sixth man? I want to see what the youth are going to do with this team, how the youth is going to move the needle forward. Rose Hive right now, when they're listening to this, tomorrow they're going to hit me in the comment section. Be like, you idiot. Your best point guard is still on the bench, and you guys keep dodging the elephant in the room. No, we're not dodging the elephant in the room. What I'm simply saying is I'm still going to close with Rose because we need him. But I want to see is Quickly ready to be groomed for this role? Do we need to go out and get a point guard next year, whether it's a draft, free agency, trade? You know, I want to see Quickly with this group. He'll give us some energy. He'll push the pace. We've seen some playmaking prowess from him earlier this year. I want to see if that's real. I want to put Quickly in that role. I think if you're going to be running the offense through Julius anyway, he can play off of him. And then you can also play next to Burks, and you can kind of split the ball handling duties. I don't like Burks in that role, bro. You're taking away from who he is. I don't like that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the chance with Quick first, and see what he's made of.
Okay. I wasn't really it wasn't a bad performance, but it wasn't a great performance from Quickly this week either. When you're given that opportunity, that's kind of why I'm hesitant. Now, I'm not saying that he can't learn and move forward with it. It's once again, do you want to disrupt that whole second unit? Because now it's funny that we're being inspired by the second unit when the first unit has been so inconsistent this season. But I'm not totally against it. I get the idea of wanting to see what he can do out there just to make that decision. Should you go get a point guard or not? If I was the front office, I'd still go get a point guard because even with Emmanuel Quickly coming off the bench, I think when he was at Kentucky, he was asked to be more of a shooter, right? Mm-hmm. And not saying that he can't become a point guard, but even if you're still developing a point guard, we've heard that whole story that it takes 4 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. So whoever you want to be point guard, they're not going to look great initially. It's very few that you get a John Morant or Damian Lillard that comes onto the scene and they look amazing within the early ages of their career. Mm-hmm. Very, very far and few between. But I think for Quickly, if you have him as the not necessarily the primary, but if you have him off ball with Julius Randle, sure, I say it won't be too much of a difference for him. But if you're going to ask for some playmaking opportunities from him too, I haven't really seen that good balance yet. Where it's like, oh, okay, he's figured it out. He knows when to attack and he knows when to find somebody else and get up to them. That's why he works so well with Derrick Rose, because Derrick Rose can take that pressure 60 to 75% of that brunt and then quickly can learn as he goes. I think if you put him into that thrust, not that he can't be no pun intended, quick learner and adjust. Mm-hmm. But I'm just worried, especially if you want to continuously run it through Randle. Will he look for Quickly? Will him and Burks be able to work as those two guards in the starting rotation? I know you want to offset because Burks isn't necessarily the greatest as point guard. Quickly hasn't really adapted to that level yet. So you're still going to get some inconsistent play too. That's just my concern with having Quickly in there. I totally understand the thought process though of saying let's figure out what we got now and see if we need a point guard move for the future though.
Yeah, that's just me going with the youth. Like obviously I know it should be Rose, right? But I want to keep Rose and Obi together. I want to close with Rose and make sure that he has enough gas in the tank to get us to the finish line. And so I want to go with the youth, mix it up a little bit and see what Quick can give us. I go back to the Atlanta game where I think it was his best game as a playmaker so far in this early season. Yes, it was against more second unit guys, but I just like what I saw there, and I want to see, is that real? Is that real? Shout out to John Farley's $10 super chat. He says, I'm starting Taj, Obi off the bench first, Mitch getting less time, and Noel situational. Our bigs are killing us on both ends with spacing and defensive rotational issues. Yeah, the stretch five is definitely killing us, Al. But here again, we handcuff ourselves with the Noel situation. You're paying him $10 million a year as a backup center. And it's not to play Monday morning quarterback. And even when the deal terms came out, I was like, all right, yeah, it's a little bit better than it sounded. But I just felt like for a backup center, I wouldn't have went that way. I would not have went that way. But let's see what happens, and hopefully you can still help this team, because I don't see how they just park that on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't see how they do that.
Yeah, and I like when we had that free agency pod before this, that was my thought. My thought process was, if you're giving Noel this money, it's because you're not 100% sold on Mitchell Robinson, and you want some sort of insurance, and you also want to look good for Nerlens Noel on how he played this past season. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of like good faith. Hey, we're not really sure on Mitch. We don't know if we're going to extend him yet. We want to make sure that he's going to be healthy for this upcoming season. He's going to take that development in the right direction. As of right now, he started off good, all these injuries, going through losing weight and playing down to like an actual weight level where he's still athletic and he can still work in the paint. He's still in that phase. Still has that. I don't even know if he found the right shoe yet, because apparently the insole has been tearing off all the other 3 shoes that he wore. So there's still some questions there, but the center position is it stinks right now. But is this a product of just, once again, do we have to wait for these guys to get into shape and just play through it? Or is this something where, because everyone's talking right now, not everyone's talking, but you hear the rumblings for Miles Turner and making that a potential trade suitor, where I don't think that's necessarily possible, since you have Domantas Sabonis, who just got benched, and Rick Carlisle loves having his centers, unless he's not sold on Miles Turner. That's where you start thinking.
I'm with you though. I'm putting Grimes in that rotation. Regardless of what changes Thibs is making, Grimes has to be in that rotation. We need his defense. The defense has been abysmal thus far. Give me a kid that's hungry, that's going to put in effort, that's going to be, a ferocious defender like Grimes is, and maybe that's part of the spark that we need on this team. Grimes has to factor into this rotation. If we got to go from 9 to 10 players, then let it be done. Let it be done. Grimes has to figure into this equation. So maybe that's part of the change that Thibs is looking for. What do you guys think? Call us up. 657-383-1509 is the number to call. While I'm going to get Ari in the room. Ari, just jump in here when you're ready. Ari, are you live?
You hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Much better, bro. What's good?
Excuse me. Not much, man. I couldn't hear what you guys were talking about on the Discord, so I don't know what we were talking about.
Lineup changes. So Alex was saying he would go with Taj at the 5 and get Grimes in there. I was saying I would take out Fournier, put IQ in there, have IQ, Burks, RJ, Randall, Mitch as your first unit. Keep Obi and Rose together, bring Grimes into the rotation, and bring Fournier off the bench.
Yeah, if I had to pick between the two of those options, I would go with CP's option. I think, listen, at least, thank God Thibs is at least, experimenting a little bit. He's tinkering around, which is, listen, he hasn't found the right way, but at least he's not, not going to wait to game 3 of the playoffs to bench up for Peyton. You know what I'm saying? So that's at least, a silver lining that we have going for us right now. But at the end of the day, man, listen, man, Kenny Smith on TNT says it all the time. He's like, if you play hard, 82 games a year, you could win 40 games, and that's what the Knicks did last year. But that is their ceiling. That is their ceiling, man. This team has has a lack of talent, and we're not ready to compete. So the way I look at it, right? And listen, I know my call was very controversial last time. Right? I understand that, but I'll just tell you guys right now, I'm getting a lot of DMs of people like privately telling me I'm right, but they're too scared to publicly voice it because they're afraid of the tomatoes. They're afraid of the tomatoes, but they're DMing me. The silent majority stands with me. But besides that, all right, this is the way I look at it, man. We just don't have enough talent to compete at this point. There's not a trade we can make that's going to make us be a championship, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But the only but here's the problem. We're capped out, okay? And our draft picks aren't going to be high enough to get serious game changers. And CP, you said it before the season. You said it during the offseason. The only way to get better is by trade. So what are the options? There's two options you could do. You could either trade your young core and bring in a Damian Lillard, a De'Aaron Fox, or something like that, where you're guaranteed to get knocked out in the second round, guaranteed no chance of winning anything. Or you could trade your older players, Randall, Mitch. If you can, I don't think you can move Fournier, but you can move Fournier. You can move him, right? Move Knox. You're not going to re-sign him. Mitch, you're not going to probably re-sign. Try to move Noel and get young players and draft capital and build for the future.
But let me ask you this. Why do they need? Why does that trade have to come this year? You have RJ who's 21. You have Quickly how old's Quickly? 23, 22. You have Obi.
Right.
Oh, all right, Obi's a little long in the tooth. You just got Grimes. You got McBride. Why do you have to make a trade right now?
No, that's a good point. I'll tell you two reasons why I think you have to make a trade. Maybe not right now, but sooner rather than later. The reason why I would do it sooner rather than later is because, number one, Randall's blocking Obi, man. You can say whatever you want. Obi's getting 9 minutes a game, dude, 10 minutes a game. He's blocking it's like Tim Hardaway Jr. from back in the day. And not to say that Randall is Tim Hardaway Jr., but when you have someone who's such a high usage player, it forces RJ to be a 3-and-D guy. It forces Quickly to be like a secondary scorer. It forces Obi to get 9 minutes a game. You're stunning their growth. You're slowing their development by trying to do that. That's number one. And number two, you don't have to do it, but you're taking the risk of these players' trade value dropping. Randall's trade value is already dropped.
It can't get any lower, bro.
You don't think it can get lower?
How could it get any lower?
I mean, who knows, man? It could be anything. Maybe his numbers get even worse. Maybe he gets injured. Maybe whatever the case may be. It could be a bunch of things. But listen. I'll meet you halfway, CP. Maybe it doesn't have to be this year, right? Maybe it doesn't. I would do it sooner rather than later, not to delay things. But you're right. It doesn't have to be this year. But that's the mindset we have to be in. Like a rebuilding, we're not ready to compete yet phase. We're just not. And I don't want to go through the whole process of half rebuilding and then, making a win now move, signing Zach Randolph or Jamal Crawford, trying to make a push, and you're not ready yet. This is what my problem is. So that's my only thing.
Let me ask you.
All right.
Charlotte, are they rebuilding or are they competing?
They're rebuilding and competing at this point because they got LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
And they signed Gordon Hayward, who happens to be not that bad. They also have who else do they have? They have Miles Bridges, who they signed is nice.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? Charlotte's been in a rebuilding mode for a while right now. And listen, rebuilding's never going to get. First of all, give me one more minute. Just rebuilding and rebuilding and tanking are not the same thing. People have to get that out of their head.
What?
Rebuilding and tanking is not the same thing. Rebuilding is prioritizing player development. All right. If you're trying to tank, you don't sign D Rose on the cheap. I love that move by signing D Rose at the cheap. That was a move I like. I'm not for tanking. I'm for rebuilding. And when I mean rebuilding, prioritizing player development and asset acquisition over wins. I'm not trying to lose on purpose, but I'm saying that's where the emphasis needs to be. That's what I think the emphasis needs to be. And Charlotte has been doing it, drafting well, and they've been patient. And there's no guarantee it will work, man. But for a fact, Randall and Damian Lillard aren't going to win you anything. Randall and De'Aaron Fox or Randall and Ben Simmons, no shot. 0% chance.
The same Charlotte. You know the Knicks wanted Gordon Hayward, right? You know the Knicks offered Gordon Hayward a deal, right?
Right, but that would have been a much worse fit on our team. We don't have LaMelo Ball on our team, and we have Julius Randle. They can take shots away from each other. That's not a good fit for our
The-
team. I didn't want him.
The
We should have
point.
signed Lonzo.
Well, I mean, maybe, and appreciate the call. The guy, I got to get to other calls. The point I'm trying to make, you can't. It's just not all about just playing your young players. This is how you lose by 70 points. You become the OKC Thunder, right? Allie, what would Ari's call be if the Knicks lost by 70 points? Fire everybody, right?
Yep.
Fire everybody. It wouldn't be, oh, well, you know, Amir Sims is looking good out there. We lost by 70, but he's setting good screens. He looks promising. It would be fire everybody. Fire the coach, fire the front office. They don't know what they're doing. We can't get stars. We can't do this. We can't do that. You got to be patient. We know we're not winning the championship right now. But it don't mean that you got to make panic trades right now either. Let the thing marinate. Let the kids grow. The whole point of building a team is bringing in quality veterans to help the kids get better.
Yeah, that's a fact. And look, you can say, we know this team is not championship ready. We know that the combination, Ari said, Dame and Julius would not be a championship caliber team, especially since you have to give up so many guys to probably get Dame Lillard over here to begin with. Same thing with De'Aaron Fox. Sacramento's not getting rid of De'Aaron Fox for nothing. They're going to want something for him because even though they've been ending up at the top of the draft, they still want to compete and be a good team because they are a small market team and they need to do something. It's hard for them to bring people in already. They already got people puking on the floor over there, so they would need somebody back. But to your point, CP, you talk about having quality vets. You could look at that right now, couldn't we? Like, we paid Julius Randle because he was good last season. You think he is a good quality vet and he is the leader of this team, and you think, hey, what we saw last season could potentially have transferred again into this season. Quality vet right there. Derrick Rose, quality vet. Taj Gibson, quality vet. If you like the way Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, and if you like what Kemba Walker had to say today, quality vets. Sometimes it's not going to be winning a championship will not be in the next 2-3 years. You know, it's not. It's a process. It's a complete process. We see the Bucks go through it. We see the Warriors go through it. Okay. What was it? You had Steph come in. What draft was that? Was that the 07?
Steph?
Was that the 07
yeah,
draft?
I think it was 07.
Yeah, so you had from 07, you had to wait until 2014 to go see a championship with that team. 2014-2015 season, that's where you saw a championship.
Yeah.
Took time. And they made proper trades. They drafted well. They built within. It takes time. Same thing with the Milwaukee Bucks. We went through this whole thing on Saturday. It takes time to build a team. And you want, as you said, you want the quality vets. It's not an overnight process.
It's not a linear thing. People think, okay, we lost first round this year, so now we got to get to conference finals. Then we got to go win a chip. It may not happen that way. You may make it to the first round this year. You may make it to the first round the next year. You may get bounced out. You may not even make it the year after that. It doesn't mean that you're not on the path, or what Ari said last week was, a couple days ago, that, you know, certain teams are ahead of us. It doesn't necessarily work that way. Now, if it don't work out with these core vets, guess what? You sign most of them to a 2-year deal. After next year, you move on. You bring in the next set. Hopefully, by that time, RJ gets out of his funk. He takes the next step. Does quickly take another step. The Obi thing is what it is. They messed it up. I told you this from the beginning. They botched it. Now they invested in Randall. So everybody talking about, oh, they need to trade Randall. They're not going to trade Randall right now. That's just not even a realistic possibility. They're not trading him. They just signed him to a deal, bro. They're not trading him right now.
If he were to get traded, he's not getting traded until you have to wait like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
To even get that, to even move him. He didn't even start his extension yet, right? He got an extension. Is this the last year of his third-year deal, or did it start this season?
This is the last year.
Yeah, so it's the last year. He didn't even start his extension yet, his 4-year extension.
Yeah.
He's not getting moved before that extension starts.
He's not getting moved. So that's not even realistic. Let me get to another call. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. I appreciate the call. 657-383-1509 is the number to call. Let me hear from my man just says his name is Chuck Norris from Yonkers. Chuck, what's good?
Chilling, my guy. Chilling, man. I just wanted to say, like, Damn, I wasn't ready for the first time caller, man. Thanks for the
Hey,
pickup.
you gotta be ready, man. You gotta be ready, Chuck.
Oh yeah, I'm in the zone listening, man. I got me hype over here. I'm loving what they're talking about.
Let's go.
So I just want to know, like, how we gonna get how we gonna get Obi some more playing time? You know, like, you think it's RJ slump is gonna last, bro? 'Cause I see him like really being nice. I know he's not gonna be like a number one in the Hall of Fame or nothing like that, but I really like RJ. I like Quickly a lot. I like the whole team. I'm just thinking, like, is it a little slump? Like, are they just trying to get their groove together, or you think like this is gonna be a problem? We gotta start making changes. Like, that's my main question. You think we gotta make changes, or like is this a little bump in the road right now?
Appreciate it, man.
I'm tired of Atlanta, man.
Yeah, we just beat him. He's already tired of it, man. He's looking forward to Christmas Day. I mean, we're gonna get to the RJ thing shortly because I want to get to Thibs' quote on RJ. But for me, look, with the Obi situation, yeah, we've been seeing him and Randall play a little bit more together. You want to see that more often. But Thibs has said he's not trying to play Julius at the 5 for long spurts. And if you think Julius is taking possessions off on defense now at the 4, what do you think he's gonna do? What do you think he's gonna do at the 5? Or dude's just trying to yam it on him every possession, man. I don't see that. I don't see them logging extended minutes. I don't think this change in the lineup is gonna be moving Obi at the 5. I mean, moving Obi at the 4 and Julius at the 5. I don't think that's a permanent change in the starting lineup. We have seen them closing in certain moments, not all of it, but in certain moments we see them closing. But listen, I think they botched the whole thing. I don't know. I don't see them growing together as a unit. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see Thibs going to that lineup, and we discussed this offseason, unless it's out of necessity. Thibs values rim protection way too much to have Randall at the 5 or even Obi at the 5, where he's going to have both of them on the court. I think he should utilize them on the court. Will he do it? Not unless it's out of necessity or unless there's a good matchup. Even when there are good opportunities, like we can go back to that Philadelphia 76ers game where you didn't have Embiid, you didn't have Tobias Harris. Most of that team was out. That was a perfect opportunity where he could have ran Randall and Toppin, and that didn't happen. So unless it's out of necessity, we're not going to see it. I think they should, though, because I think Obi just brings so much energy and brings a different dynamic to this team that you just can't leave him on the bench. He's such an energy guy where you have to focus. He's just leaking out, getting you dunks, grabbing boards, ready to push the pace, whether it's, like I said, him leaking out or him with the ball in his hand. And just that, having a dynamic forward that can do that, it opens up so many opportunities. This is where Thibs should be creative and utilize that, but it's not going to happen that often.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, man. I like the way the kid has come on this year. He's playing strong. He's bringing us energy. He is the pace. You know what I'm saying? Obi is the pace. And it's just unfortunate that they can't coexist, and that, because of, Randall's good play last year was a gift and a curse. It kept him here, and now it's keeping him here long term. So, again, I just don't see how that thing works out. You know what? Speaking of Obi, let's go to Dayton, Ohio. I want to talk to Jim from Dayton. Jim, what's going on?
Hey, CP, first-time caller.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, they're doing all right, man. Doing all right. Just typical hashing out family matters here. So welcome to the show, man.
I tell you, yeah. Well, I'll admit I'm a short-time Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Mostly a Knicks fan just because of Obi. If he was going to the Bulls, I'd have been a Bulls fan. Mm-hmm. But I like all the players on the Knicks. I don't like Thibs, and Thibs is using Obi wrong. And I followed Obi for 2 years at Dayton, and I'm telling you, this player's got a lot of upside. Mm-hmm. He's only going to get better. He was getting better as he left Dayton. He was getting better every game. Mm-hmm. This guy needs to play more than 12 minutes a game.
Yeah.
If Burks or any of these guys would just look up the court just one time throughout the game, he'd end up getting 4 or 5 dunks throughout the game, just fast break dunks, because he's faster than lightning. He's fast. He's probably the fastest guy on the Knicks team.
Yeah, that's why I like him playing with Rose. Rose is the only one who can consistently find him out there. IQ's getting a little bit better,
right?
But
exactly.
Burks, no.
IQ's doing better. I think they developed some chemistry over the summer in that league, but and I think it's getting better every day. But I'm not saying that Obi needs to knock Randall out 25 minutes a game or whatever, because Randall's your key player. Randall's a good player. He's dog tired by the end of the game, man.
Yeah.
You got to get Randall a little bit more bench time, get Obi in there a little bit more, even if it's only another 5 minutes, and get Randall down to like low 30s. That's where Randall's effective. At the end of the game, Randall is struggling.
Yeah.
But Thibs' rotations are just like, head scratching. I just don't get them. And most of the fans that watch Obi at Dayton, they don't get it either. Obi is not a guy you stick on the wing shooting threes in the corner. That is not his game. So, but I like the Knicks. I think they got a good team. Quickly, I think should be starting. That's just my opinion. He's got to do it at some point, and I think he's getting better every game. I love all these guys, really. I think they got a good team. I think they just need rebalanced a little bit, and Thibs has got to break out of his mold a little bit and start shaking up his lineup a lot.
All right,
and that starts with I'm an Obi homer. Obi's got to play more 12, 13 minutes a game.
I figured, man. Great call, man. I think you're getting fives in the chat from the Obi Hive. So good to hear from you, Jim. Definitely call back in the future, man.
Sweet. We'll do that. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, Jim from Dayton checking in now. Says Thibs is wasting them away. With the whole tired thing, I've been saying that for a couple of days now, man. And I don't know what it is, but like these guys just seem kind of tired out there, man. I'm not making excuses, but I don't know, man. I don't know what these guys are doing in practice, because they don't even practice that much, right? I think they just practiced yesterday. Once you get into the season, you don't even practice that much, but like I'm just trying to figure out where that energy was that they had last year, where that intensity was like that they had last year. I don't know. It just seems like they are tired, man. This early.
I would say more so for the starters, because the bench units started the season off very hot.
Yeah.
I think they're just hitting a cold streak, and especially with the shakeup for the second unit, I think that's what's going on, because they're so used to coming out, like even though it's staggered when they all come out together, they're so used to coming out around the same time that there's that just rhythm, right? That's what Thibodeau always preaches. Like he wants them to be in rhythm and just know who they're going to be with and have that consistency and know when you're going to get your minutes and come in. So I think that for the second unit, the starters, Julius and everybody else, we can talk about Mitch putting on the weight, still trying to get adjusted. Noel's been hurt whenever he's been with the starting unit. Talk about, you can talk about RJ trying to get into his funk. Now he was sick. We're going to get more into RJ later. Kemba, Fournier, you could debate whether it takes more time. You can debate whether Kemba's knees are done. You can debate whether it was really an overall good fit to pair them with RJ and Randall to begin with. That's just a question that's going to be answered by the end of the season, maybe midway point, but that's something we're not going to get answers to for a little while longer. Randall, I can get behind saying reduce Randall, because when I look at teams, and it's not even necessarily load management like what they do for Kawhi Leonard, but when I look at what they do for Giannis, right, out in Milwaukee, they make sure that they cap it between 32 to 36 minutes during the regular season, so that way he's fresh to go for the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that, once again, this is not to say that we're in the same stratosphere as the Bucks, that we can make a deep run as the Bucks. It's just keeping your players healthy, because the thing that matters most is the playoffs, and you don't need to burn your guys out. And Randall did lead the league in playing most minutes last season, and you'd have to think that ending in May, short off season maybe, right? It was a short off season for them, because usually it's around it was around May, June, somewhere around there. You think that maybe he didn't have enough time to rest his body, and now he's going right back into it. So this is where you start saying, why don't you get Obi those extra minutes? Because Obi can do it. Obi's ready to go. 10 to 12 minutes is not enough for Obi. I'm looking at these stats right here, thanks to NBA Advanced Stats, and you have 18 games where Obi and Randall have played together on the court in a unit. They have 70 minutes together and 170 points. Not enough time. And just in comparison, Obi and Quickly have had 291 minutes, 672 points together. So not enough time with Randall and Obi to really experiment. But I'd like to see, like, it goes back to, once again, utilize that lineup, see what it is, like, get guys out there, change it up. I like what the caller said, where you had to mix things up, shake it up.
Yeah.
It's a little too formulaic, where you know what's going to happen, and it's just kind of banging your head against the wall.
Yeah.
That starting unit, it's having to figure out what that starting unit is. If Burks is somewhat helpful, like we saw during the Atlanta game, he's not saying he's been helpful this week, especially when you see Atlanta, the Nets, and Chicago. But there's something else that's lacking, and that I think that might be the secondary playmaking. So we'll see. Someone else is going to have to step up in that realm. That's maybe you bring Kemba back in, you try that out, because as of right now, you can't say Kemba is the issue.
Yeah, true indeed, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP Alex Retards, Trata Cast, and Knicks Weekly, presented by Manscaped. We are recapping the week that was for the Knicks. Could potential lineups be on the way? Time will tell, man. Knicks starting off a 3-game road trip in San Antonio tomorrow night. So we'll see where Thibs goes there. Yeah, I'm with Jim though, man. Like, if we're not gonna get enough minutes with them together, you could dial back Randall's minutes a little bit, man. I kind of feel like sometimes, we treating this guy like he's LeBron James.
Yeah.
And I understand last year, look, most improved player, all of that. He put in the work. But you don't have to have him bringing the ball up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to force feed him every time. And you don't have to play him all that many minutes. Embrace the depth. Embrace the depth. Save this guy's legs. I'm with Jim, man. Sometimes this guy's looking tired out there. He's taking possessions off on defense now. Dial it back a little bit. Rock with Obi. Let Obi rock. If we're not going to rock with them together, rock with Obi. You don't have to play Julius 30 to 38 minutes, 36 minutes.
You don't need to, and that's the frustrating part. Like, I don't know why we have, like, I understand that this has been Thibs' thing throughout all of his career, where he plays his best players the most minutes, because players also want to play the most minutes. Yeah, I get that, but you also have to look out for the player too, and saying, is he being effective with getting all these minutes? As of right now, Randall's getting his points, but it's not effective. That's why I go to Giannis. I look at somebody who's effective with the limited minutes that you get, and that might be why they keep going to isolation basketball, because you're running them out there for so long, and it's like, look, man, I'm tired. I don't want to keep running around and doing all this stuff. Bring somebody else in.
I mean,
change it up.
I mean, if you're gonna call out, we're gonna get to the RJ thing right now. But if you're gonna call out RJ for not putting in the work shooting, why are you not holding this guy accountable every single time he's bringing the ball up? You got him out there with 3 other guards, and you got him bringing the ball up like he's Kevin Durant, and then coughing the ball up for you. He's an automatic turnover, at least one a game, where he's handing the ball over to the other team. Why not change that? Where's the adjustment there? How about pass it to the guard, and they will establish you. You establish yourself in the post, and they give it to you from there. I don't have a problem with him getting the ball on the offensive end, but bringing the ball up all the time and having him, make those quick decisions, that's not his strength. And you're only going to make him tired, and he's a walking turnover. We've been seeing this for 3 years now. I don't get it, man.
Well, to make people happy out there, from the limited sample size I talked about for Obi and Randall on the court together, offensive rating is 116.4, defensive rating is a 98, so you have a net rating of 18.5. And according to Fred Katz, Tom Thibodeau is someone who likes to go by these numbers to see what's working and what's not when it comes to the eye test. Mm-hmm. Well, if you're looking at these numbers, you see Randall and Toppin have a net rating of 18.5. Why not try it even more, especially when you're given the opportunity to do so? There's going to be times during games where teams are going to go small and they're not going to have their 5 out there, or they don't have enough big men, or true centers that are like 6'10" and taller. So take advantage of it. Utilize it. Get your guy Obi Toppin more minutes, because he just brings you that energy.
Yeah, true story, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Shout out to Christ Nick King in the chat. He says, CP, what hoodie you got on? I got on the City Edition joint, man. You know, a little NYC, you know. That's my joint right there. All right, let's get to the Thibs quotes on RJ and talk a little RJ, and then we'll close out with the phones. Let's hear from Thibs and what he had to say there about young Rowan. Hang on.
You have everybody healthy at this point. You just kind of have to be in the gym more. Were you suggesting that he was?
No. I think the question was about him getting out of the slump, and I said I had a lot of confidence because he did it last year, and he did that by being in the gym. You know, coming back at night, and he grooved his shot, and he worked his way through it. He's a problem solver. And he's a worker. Now he's sick, so obviously, you know, he's not coming into the gym. He's sick, and nor would you want him to, because you don't want to get. You know, we had a number of guys who were sick. So, you know, if you're sick, you're sick. There's nothing you can do about that. So, but he's feeling a lot better. So he's in last night. He was in early today. That's who RJ is.
So, just proper context on that was that he's been.
He was sick. Like my confidence is, I know he can do it because he already did it. You know, like and I thought that was the question that was asked of me. So the fact that he did it once before tells me that he'll do it again. And I saw the way he did it, so I know that he knows he can do it. You know, we have a lot of confidence in him.
All right, man. Yo, Thibs was kind of humming and hawing out there, Al. He was kind of backpedaling a little bit, man. Like, let's be real. He aired out Broadway Barrett after the Nuggets game. Said he was not putting in the work. He kept it a buck. It had nothing to do with him being sick. Obviously, if he was sick, he's not going to be putting in work. He made it clear that last year he was coming in at nighttime and shooting. He had the drill right next to Thibs' office. We know all that story. Now the morning after, when you know tempers have cleared and he's got a clear head, now he's trying to backtrack on the comments. I mean, let's be real. He aired out young Rowan, man. He aired him out the other day. Let's just be real here, Thibs. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it. Say like you just don't after I get it was a bad loss, but to come out and to attack the young player in RJ who. You know, you're kind of there's a little bit of a change. We're asking him to be the defensive guy. Sure, you can hold him accountable because he hasn't been up to snuff where he should be. He's not shooting well over the last couple of games. He hasn't been good since the Milwaukee Bucks game where he put up 20 points. So it's fair to call him out, but to call him out and solely him out where you can also question, hey, what is Julius Randle doing when he's giving you late game turnovers and just chucking up shots when he should be looking for other guys? Or he's just trotting back on defense. Yeah. And he's the guy who keeps at the end of every post game saying, we got to come out with more energy and play with more energy. And there's times where he doesn't play with a lot of energy. And I'm not trying to slander Randle, but if you're going to hold someone accountable, be accountable throughout the entire team because not everyone has been up to snuff. Especially in that first unit, but he definitely did backtrack on what he said about RJ Barrett.
Yeah, 100% backtracked. And we got the stats up here, though, man. The stats ain't lying too much, Al. Stats are looking kind of abysmal right now for young Rowan. Last 13 games, he is averaging 10 points a game, 32% from the field, 22% from three, 21% from wide open three. He's taken 58 threes in that span, according to Fred Katz of The Athletic. 55 were wide open. And he's shooting 21% from wide open three. 17 from the corners, the shortest three in the league. 17 from the corners. It seems like everything fell off the wagon when we named him Player of the Week the other couple weeks back. He was shooting better. He was finishing better. He was finishing around like 70% at the rim. Now it's back down to his average 50. Not good. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was surprised to hear Thibs say that he wasn't putting in the work this year because, he's putting it in last year. So a lot of us assume that, that was just his work ethic. That was just what he was doing. So it was kind of surprising to hear that, he wasn't doing that this year. And, the numbers are just staggering, especially wide open. Wide open. Staggering, man.
Do you think, question for you, CP, do you think he's not putting in the work? I mean, he was recently sick. What are your thoughts on
I mean clearly
on
not.
right
Maybe in practice, but I think what Thibs was saying after the Sunday loss was that he's not putting in the extra work. That I was surprised by. You know what I mean? Because he struck me as, one of those overachievers, the guys that are trying to go above and beyond to improve. But again, is he tired? Like, I don't know. But clearly what Thibs was saying after Sunday's game was that he's not putting in the extra work that he needs to be putting in. So is that the reason for the slump? I don't know. But he's got to get right, man. I understand, the fit with the first unit, and we have seen Thibs trying to bring him more in with the second unit, get him some run with Rose, quickly Obi, which I think is the right thing to do because that team picks up the pace, and that's RJ's game, especially out in transition. But there's still no excuse for shooting 21% from wide open three, bro, when you're getting the opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there's no excuse for the wide open threes where he's taken in the last 13 games, he's taken 58. He's taken 58 threes in the last 13 games, and 55 of them were wide open. He's only hitting 21.8% from those wide open threes. You can't be doing that. And I guess that does come with shooting yourself out of the funk. That comes with like all that practice, getting yourself out of the funk, right? Yeah. And Thibs mentioned it in the presser where he's a problem solver. So if he's shooting it, he's going to go. The idea is to go back to the gym, look at the film, go through the motions, put up a lot of shots, and just feel it yourself saying, all right, what's the release supposed to feel like? Where am I supposed to catch it? How should it feel like going through the whole entire motion? And he hasn't been doing that is what Thibs is clearly saying. Yeah. And maybe we can give him some slack because he was sick recently. Let's see now. Now you're not sick, right? You're recovering. You're able to play. You're back out on the court. Now you got to put back that work so you can get out of here and not only show your coach that you can once again put in that work, but not hear the boos and everyone else at MSG.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this is the last 13 games. Yes, he was sick and he missed one, but this is a trend. So again, I think number one, he's got to work on improving his shot. That's number one. Number two, try to get him in some rhythm early in the game, rather than stuffing it with Julius. Run some more plays for RJ. See if he can get into a rhythm that way because his free throw attempts are down as well. He's not attacking as well. And I understand he has deficiencies, right? We understand that. But he should still be able to patent a go-to move that he's comfortable with and get into a rhythm that way. Then maybe if he steps out beyond the arc, he'll get a little bit more confident in his shot, because I think a lot of that too is he's not confident in his shot. So, we got to get him back on track. I'm not trying to bench him, trade him like all these other people are talking about. We just got to see if he can get back on track, man.
What do you mean by benching him? Because I saw there was some talk around just having him come off the bench with the second unit. Do you mean like I'm not
right? That's what I mean.
Is that what you're talking about?
Having him not start. I don't think it's that drastic yet. Like I said, to me, he's still your most reliable wing defender, and we don't have that much wing defense on this team. That's another problem. But to me, I don't want to take that out of the lineup. I think you bench him, maybe even shake up his confidence even more. You could still run him with that second unit, but still start him. Which is where I'm going. But I do want him running with Rose, quickly Obi a bit more, and I think Thibs is trying to do that, especially the last two games that RJ played.
Yeah, I think something that Thibs can do is, you have him out there in the starting unit. You can even, if you want to focus so much on Randall being your primary option, you can just put sub in, I guess, Grimes or whoever you want to come off the bench for Barrett. and then you can then flip it and then have IQ, Rose, Barrett come back in with Obi and whoever you want at center, and then you get that whole lineup again going too, just so that you can get the ball in RJ's hands too, and you can create those opportunities for him, because we've already seen that Randall likes to have the ball most of the time, get himself going, be the playmaker, and we haven't seen RJ really call for the ball over the last couple of weeks. We haven't seen RJ be aggressive. We've kind of seen him regress to what he was doing last season, as we talked about in the last episode, where he's just driving to the basket and shooting threes and no in between. That snake dribble isn't there. We haven't seen him really even do the pull-up shooting that he was practicing on this off season. We haven't seen that since that hot streak that he had when he was averaging over 20 points per game.
Yeah.
So he's now changed his game completely. We need to figure out if, I think that would be the way to get him back in rhythm. Just bring him out early, bring him back in, and have him as the guy. Like, if you have Rose pushing the pace, you know he can easily get RJ in there and quickly look to get RJ going. And then you can have him he can start building that confidence. He can get that first easy bucket and then start getting it going from there. That's one way you can help RJ get it going.
100%. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. All right, let's see what's going on the Discord. Jalen Julius on the Discord. Oh, I actually just disconnected him. Jalen, my bad. I had him in the queue, man. I had him ready to go. Jalen, go ahead and jump back in when you can, and we'll get you in. Ant Green on the Discord. Ant Green, what's going on? Ant Green, you're live and direct. Oh, I see Jalen here. Let me get Jalen back in here. My fault. All right, we should have Jalen. Let me take him off mute. Okay, Jalen, you should be good to go. Jalen going once. Can't hear him. Jalen going twice. I don't see any audio going for Jalen. All right, Jalen, I'm gonna disconnect you. Let me get back to the phones. JJ from Brooklyn. JJ, what's going on?
Yo, what's good? How you guys doing?
What's good, bro? How you feeling?
What's going on? Doing good, man. Yeah, a few points. First, on the thing with Knicks fans that's really been frustrating me is after we lost the two games to the Nets and the Bulls, right? King D's, you're one of my favorite callers, but I got to go at him for a sec. He's saying, oh, everything's good. We're a great team. This shows how good we are. There's no more victories. There's no more victories when you lose to the Magic twice. And, I just don't believe in more victories. Not when you're in the East is too good right now. You can't just say a win is a win and a loss is a loss. Like Herm Edwards said, man, you play to win the game.
You play
and
to
it wasn't
win
just
the
King
game.
You guys,
you know what
you guys
is.
must have had like 10 fans that were celebrating the losses. Like, when you lose to the Magic twice, there's no more victories. We're not even in the plane right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't believe in that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree, man.
And a few points, man. The thing with Randall and RJ, right? Like, these guys, as long as they're your best players, you're not going to go anywhere in a normal season. Last year. These guys, they both shot 40% from three last year, right? And this season, they're both at about 30%. That's a huge drop right there.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And, with RJ, I'm just really concerned. And if he's not putting in the work now, he's got to put in extra work. Because for a 21-year-old wing, he's not talented. He's not gifted. He doesn't have handles. He doesn't finish at the hoop. He's not a consistent shooter. It's like, what does he do well offensively? We always have excuses for him. It's either he needs Randall to be off the team. He needs to be with the bench. He needs a point guard, a pass-first point guard. Or now it's Thibs is putting too much pressure on him to be the team's best wing defender. Like, I'm telling you, pretty sure we're just going to run out of excuses. And we'll say for a third overall pick, he's just not it, man. Pretty soon we're going to say that four-letter B word. I don't even want to say it, but it rhymes with must.
Oh,
but you guys have a good one, man.
Talking,
Thanks for taking the call.
All right, JJ, appreciate the call, man. JJ talking spicy tonight, man. Yeah.
That is some real spice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call – that's hard. Like, but when I think of bust, I think of, like, Anthony Bennett, guys who couldn't really do it in this league. Like, if you can be – a role player in this league, you're not a bust because you're still usable in this league. Bust is like someone who out can't even do it.
Yeah,
couldn't even make it.
True.
You know, I think Jimmy Fredette is a bust. That is a bust.
Facts. Morrison, you know what I'm saying? All right,
yeah, that's a bust.
I see some more names in the chat. Will, I see Will. Will, we're gonna close with you, Will. Let me try Ant Green on the Discord again. If I can't hear Ant Green, then I'm gonna restart the Discord. Ant Green, what's good? Yeah, I don't know. All right, here's what I'm gonna restart the Discord. So Ant Green and Jalen Julius, hang tight. I'm gonna get with you guys. Just hang tight there. Sometimes that happens with the Discord. Let me go to ATL. Ron Don from ATL. Ron, what's going on, man? Ron going once?
Yo.
Yup,
here.
What's up, man?
Yo, the last caller, he just blew my mind. I had something totally different to say, but I'm gonna say this first. I text you earlier on Instagram. I said, like, you know, what's going on? You know, what you think we should do? Mm-hmm. I think it's like this. I think when the guys got paid last year, they got the money. They looked at the game a little different.
Yeah.
You know, they looked at the game a little different. They're not playing the same way they were playing last year. They're not coming as aggressive that they did last year. They just taking things more lightly. I think RJ last year he hit the gym hard. You know, he was going at it, 24/7. He was doing everything he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. They thought since we got to the 4th seed last year that they did everything that they had to do in the gym. So they're not trying as hard this year. You know what I'm saying? Julius had a baby. Evan Fournier had a baby. You know, they got that baby fever going on. There's a lot of things that I think taking effect this year that didn't take effect last year.
Yeah. Okay.
I think also with like Obi, I think if we could get Obi up to 18 minutes a game and Julius play 32, I think we'll see a lot different play. You know, Julius won't be so tired. You know, even if we put Obi in for a stretch 5, get Mitch some rest, because you see what happened when the last game when Mitch was out of breath. The last game he was just totally gone. But we got to do something. But JJ, the last caller, come on, my guy, RJ is a good player. He's a very good player. Mm-hmm. He's not a bench player. I think we should take I don't want to say his name, but the Elfrid Payton effect. Mm-hmm. You put some of these guys in. If we do play Kemba for a few minutes, then put Rose in. You know what I'm saying? We play RJ. If we start RJ, and then if he's not playing good for a few minutes, then take him out, put him in with the second unit.
Quick cooks. I think that's what they're doing, man. And appreciate the call. I do think that's what they're doing, because last few games RJ's been the first one to the bench. You know, and bringing him back in with those guys, especially late first, early second. So I think that is what he's doing. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. I see a super chat has come in. Shout out to who just sent that super chat. Saw a couple come through. Shout out Mont Blanc Nolan says, bro, I don't know. I think the best Barrett has to me a Rudy Gay ceiling. Are we okay with that? Of course. Prime Rudy Gay was a bucket. Are you crazy? Mm-hmm. If he was Rudy Gay, I'd be thrilled. I would be thrilled if he became Rudy Gay. Come on, man. He says also Samanak going off in the G League. What do you think? G League not the same as the league, but he's on a 2-way, so we should be seeing him. You know what I'm saying now? Should be seeing him. So.
Yeah. I'm just once again we talked about this. G League guys translating to the NBA. It's like I'm a big proponent of the G League and always looking for guys to come up, especially when we had nobody up here.
Yeah.
Tall order for these guys to adjust. Just different talent. Totally different talent.
Yeah, totally different talent. Yeah, but listen, man, if RJ became Rudy Gay, I would be thrilled. He ain't gonna be that.
Yo, if RJ could be a consistent, the only thing against Rudy Gay is that every team that he was on prior to, I think, the Spurs, they never made the playoffs. But Rudy Gay was able to get buckets.
Oh yeah, he was a bucket, man. Rudy Gay was a bucket. No doubt about it. No questions asked. All right, to the Discord, Ant Green. Can you hear us, Ant Green, on the Discord?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right, excellent.
Just had to
All
reset
right,
it a
everybody.
little bit, like Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nothing about that, man. Go ahead. He's laughing now. He don't know nothing about that. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
What?
I ain't talking
Come
about
on,
Nintendo
CP,
Switch either, bro.
First of all, guys, I hope you guys are doing all right this evening. Everybody put that thumbs up in the chat. You know, there's almost over 700 people watching. Only 100 likes. We can get those up.
Let's do it.
Secondly, I wanted to call about, I think just a general of the Knicks just playing up to the right competition and down to the games that we're supposed to be winning. There's like nowhere near enough consistency between our close games, between the Bulls, the Nets, all these teams that are, you know, the top of the line teams that we're supposed to be playing hard. And then we go and drop 3 to the Magic. That makes absolutely no sense. And then on the whole, why is Julius bringing the ball up the court?
Why is he bringing
You have so many other players bringing the ball up the court where like, there's no reason for him to be doing that. And then he dribbles into 3 guys and everybody's sitting there like, oh, what happened? What happened? Don't let Julius bring the ball up the court.
Yeah, that's on the coach.
I mean, 100%. Yeah, I got to put that on Thibs. Like, you know, just drawing up which plays. And I can't blame Julius for that. I blame Julius for decision-making on the court when he decides there's 3 people in the paint and he decides to try to thread the needle right in between them. That's like an automatic turnover. I mean, I respect everybody on the team, and I like what we have as a team. Like, everyone complaining about, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. We had Ron Baker on our team at a certain point. Y'all need to remember that.
Yeah.
Ron Baker. Like, we've come such a long way, and the rebuild takes time, and we're finally in a place, like, I feel like we're at the midway point. It's either we about to jump or we got to get off the pot because something's got to happen fast.
Let's go.
But that's all I wanted to say. Once again, I wanted to thank you, CP, for making my first Knicks game a great time. That double overtime at the Garden. That opening game was
you were
great.
with us.
Yeah, I won the Julius basketball.
Oh, no doubt.
Nice.
No doubt. Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, salute, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Exactly. It was like the best way I could ever experience a Knicks game. And let's go, Knicks. CP, you the man. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Salute, and agree, man. Yeah, it was a great time. Seems like many moons ago, and when people were talking about 60 wins. Now we want to tank, rebuild, trade everybody. That's the joy of being a Knicks fan. 23 games in, and it's the 50 burgers are gone. The 60, we can't even find JD. We don't even know where JD's at. You know, the grill's
he took
gone.
that grill. He dipped. I don't even know where he is.
Took the
man.
burning money, went to DR, man.
He took that plane out of here real quick.
Fast. First thing smoking. Can't make it up, man. So I love being a Knicks fan, man. You just can't make it up. So to everybody in the chat once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys, like my man Ant said. Let's get those likes up. We got 820 people in here. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit those likes. If you guys are new in the chat, type in #new. We'll shout you guys out. I haven't been able to rock with the highlights a little bit, man. It's been a little bit of system overload, but that is about to change. Within the next week, we're turning this thing into Sports Center. I'm telling you, this thing is gonna be tricked out. Oh yeah, I'm pulling out all the stops.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm pulling out all the stops. We've been making changes little by little, and yeah, man, we're about to really get cooking. And I got a big announcement too coming up on Friday as well, man. So stay tuned for that. Now, another chapter in the book of CP the franchise, man. I got a big announcement coming up on Friday. All right, I told Jalen Julius we were gonna go to him on the Discord, so let's go to him next, and then we'll finish up on the phones. Jalen Julius up next. Jalen Julius. Oh man, don't tell me you missed this call again. Jalen Julius, man, what happened? We restarted the Discord and Green got through. Oh man, he must be nervous, Al. I don't know, man.
I don't know either. But if
Yeah.
you want to talk about G League, another guy that
Yeah,
looked
go ahead.
great in the G League, Ron Baker.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, we got 2 guys from Wichita State, and they still weren't the right guys. You know what I mean?
Nope.
That's the life of a Knicks fan, man.
Fun, and I was at that premiere for Ron Baker too. I think he dropped a triple double. He was just one rebound shy of a triple double.
Yeah. Oh, Ron Baker was a problem at Wichita State. Don't sleep now. Ron was a problem, but yeah, it's just never translated. Jalen, we're shutting down the Discord, man. I don't know what happened to you, but call in on the phones if you want to get in. We're gonna take a couple more on the phones and then wrap. Let's go to Chris from ATL. Chris, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Good. How you feeling, bro?
Good, man. My name is really Chris Dada in the chat, so I finally get a chance to call in.
What's up, Chris?
I'm working remote tomorrow, so I get to stay up late,
Okay,
you know?
okay, no doubt, man.
But, you know, as most teams, man, you're only as good as your best player. You know, Randall has regressed, and unfortunately his sidekick, RJ, has regressed, so that's what's hurting the team, especially on offense. You know, RJ, I got to give props to JJ. He's spot on. In order for RJ to be the best version of himself, the outside shot has to be consistent. It has to be. It opens up the rest of his game, and I gotta give a spot. I'll put the spotlight on our coach, man. I mean, he has to change some of his ways. He's too rigid. If he watched the playoffs last year with the Clippers and the Jazz ran the Jazz off the court with the 7-2 Rudy Gobert by going small and being innovative. Yo, you got to change it up. Obi Toppin needs to be on the floor. Put Randall on the floor with him. Open up the court.
But real quick though, Chris. Nick Batum was an all-defensive player, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we could really discount that. You know, they didn't just go small just to go small. I mean, they went small, had Batum running at the 5, and were able to do that well because he can play defense very well.
True, but sometimes, you know, when you got to try something new. You can't just keep running out the same thing over and over again. The league knows him like a book now. They know what Thibs is going to do. You got to change it up and give him something else to think about.
I agree with that.
You know? And I think that combination would work. Oh, look, Obi's our most excited. I pretty much watch it now just to watch Obi play. Hey, give me more Obi, please, at least. If we're going to lose, give me more Obi.
Me too, man. Thanks for the call, man.
You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate it, fellas. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm with him. Listen, I'm all for Obi playing more. I'd like to see more of it because he gives us exactly what we need, which is a shot in the arm.
Yeah. You know, all that energy that we need, man.
Yeah.
And we are in that funk and we need someone this is where, once again, put Obi and Randall out there because it's just slow. Like Randall slows the game down. We're not great in the half court and we got to be taking advantage of those easy buckets in transition. So get Obi out there. He's leaking. Someone was going to find a man in transition and just get those easy points.
Let's go. All right, we got a couple more to go. Rapid fire, people. We're running out of time right now, so rapid fire. Let's go with, let me hear from Jay from Florida. Jay, what's going on?
Yeah, man. I was taking lead tonight. I was gonna sit it out for the night, but I said I gotta come on here and say a few things, man. If you look at the pictures, man, the first one, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for your boys. 800 people in the chat. We need 800 likes at least. Support the show. Support CP. CP probably gonna be on first take by next Monday. So support the show while you can.
Let's go.
Listen, if you look at Twitter, I saw that Taj was wearing a blue jersey today. Taj Gibson's gonna start tomorrow. I've never seen a coach just consistently lean on the same players for a whole decade. Thibs can't continue to lean on Taj and Rose for the whole 12, 13 years. Like, he got to find new players, bro. He going to start Taj tomorrow. With all them kids, all them young players on the bench, he's going to go back and reach for Taj tomorrow, bro. If you listen to Kemba's words today, he said that he's there for his teammates. He's there to support. He's there to build these kids that idolize him. He's not doing this for Thibs, man. Like I said last time, Thibs has lost his team, bro. The effort doesn't look great. It looks lazy. Julius Randle got an attitude problem. If you half it on defense, every other possession, like you said, CP, you taking defensive possessions off, you're not covering your guy. Like, it's inexcusable. It starts with your leader. He thinks he's something that he ain't, right? Mm-hmm. Come on, you got to figure it out. Leon, come on, brother. We need you to figure out something. I feel like Leon's overrated. I feel like they got lucky last year.
Here we go.
I feel Worldwide West supposed to get meetings.
He's
supposed to get meetings. He's here to get free agents. Where the free agents at? Where's the people demanding the trade to the Knicks? Where's the Donovan Mitchell? Where's the Fox? Where's the people supposed to be coming to the Knicks to save this franchise? Nobody's saving his team. Dame went on Twitter today and debunked the rumors again, talk about he demanding the trade. He's not coming here. Nobody's coming here to save the Knicks. Build with your guys, draft your players. I said 2 years ago, we was talking about Twitter. I'm going crazy tonight. I said 2 years ago, they should have traded Mitch and all the picks for LaMelo and moved up when the Warriors had the pick for sale. They didn't do that. Leon Rose is overly conservative It's going to come
I
back
don't
to
say
bite him
that,
every time.
man.
He's
I wouldn't say
overly
that, man.
conservative,
I
bro.
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
I feel like he's overly conservative.
I think they looked at LaMelo. We even heard that they looked at Wiseman and tried to go get him, right? They wanted to go up and get Duarte. They wanted to go up and get Murphy. But you
So what
also have
happened?
to,
Why we holding on
but
to
you
the
also
picks?
have a
See,
price.
that's what I'm trying to
gotta have
say.
a
Why we
price,
holding on to
too.
the picks?
Look, I can't speak for them. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for them. But you can't also be by any means necessary on everything. And when you're doing business, you gotta have a
here's how it
price, and
turned
you
out.
gotta be
Here's how
willing
it
to walk
turned
away
out.
from the table.
Let's say I know what you're saying, but let's say the Warriors say, "Yo, we need 3 picks." The 3 picks probably could have turned into Grimes and McBride, them 2 picks, and the 8 pick you had that year. You probably could have packaged 3 or 4 picks to move to get LaMelo. You picking in the 20s. You got to roll the ball. You here to make it shake. They're overly conservative, brother. I'm going.
Rate that call in the chat, man. 1 through 5. 1 being fat, 1 being trash, 5 being facts. How you guys feeling about Jay from Florida's call, man? We did post his call. It's his Sunday night call. It's been getting a lot of reaction from the fan base. Some positive, some negative, man.
I wouldn't say Leon Rose is conservative.
Yeah.
I think we've heard stories where they wanted to move up. And to your point, CP, you have to have a price. You can't just give up everything to go get these guys.
Yeah.
That's right. And we've heard that they wanted to move up to get Obi a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
We heard that didn't they want to move up to get Kuminga? Wasn't that another player that they were looking at?
I didn't hear Kuminga. I didn't hear Kuminga. Did the Kuminga's name come up?
I thought Kuminga was one of the names for the Knicks this past season. I know they want to move up in the draft this season too. They want to move up high. It's just they're looking for the right price. So you don't want to have to overhaul everything and not have anyone to draft for the upcoming years. Because I think you're trying to build, right? Once again, we're not a championship team. You need that good veteran presence. So we're right now in this place where we have veteran presence and we're trying to build a team. And Thibs is not going to be that guy to just run all the rookies out there for 30 minutes a game and live or die by the rookies.
Yeah.
This is not Luke Walton. It hasn't worked for the Sacramento Kings. He's trying to create some sort of culture that we had last season. And you think that it would transfer into this season, a winning culture where everyone's just coming in, getting off the plane, going to the gym with Julius Randle, and just putting in the work, putting up the shots that we had in the Players Tribune last season. As of right now, they're struggling. But if you're trying to establish that culture, you can't go too far off the trail and just mortgage everything just to get one player either. You're still trying to create a pipeline of guys that are going to come in, and you have to figure out those guys are going to stick around. If you have Grimes and McBride who are going to be players that stick around, you're thankful that you have them, and then you can move on from those assets. Let's look at last season too. Like who were the guys that we really had that were young? Mitch, RJ, Obi, quickly. Those are really like your 4 guys. Knox, Frank, those guys, they're out the door. Okay. Not even considering them, but those are your 4 guys that you're considering that are young, that you're trying to build around. Now you added Grimes, McBride, you got Rokas, who's playing over internationally. You got Jericho Sims as well. So now they're trying to create a wealth of talent. They're trying to have that bank so that way they can also have players that if you need to trade them for somebody and develop them, they're good enough to trade, but also they have a pipeline that they can rely on in the future if some of these veterans don't work out and if their contracts end. You talk about these guys like Nerlens Noel, you have Derrick Rose, you have Alec Burks, you have guys who signed really just 2-year, not even 3-year deals. The last year for most of these guys are team options, so they could be gone after next season, which is still good contracts to like trade. You could still move them because if someone needs a center, if you need a center in a pinch, maybe you say, hey, let's take on that Nerlens Noel contract for a short stint and give him something in return. You could say the same thing for Alec Burks, although I don't think Burks is moving, but you can still use that same thought process.
Yeah.
That's where you're moving with these guys. The team is going to take time until it actually becomes something. And then this team is not going to be the team that just runs young guys out. So you got to keep those assets, create that talent, create that pipeline, because if you just mortgage it all for one person, then what do you have after that one person? Then you're going back through the free agency. You got nobody again.
All over again. Look. I even heard just recently. That they wanted to go up and get LaMelo. MJ didn't want to do any deals. MJ wanted him. It's 2 sides to the table. to say that, now Leon's has been a bust. Look, you heard that they wanted Hayward at a certain price. I'm glad they didn't overpay. They liked the guy from, they liked Beasley. Minnesota signed him. They tried to move up in the draft for Duarte. They tried to move up in the draft for Murphy. They prepared last year in the draft to go get Obi. They ended up getting him. At where they were in the draft, I'm almost positive the reason why they ended up maneuvering to get quickly was because Maxey was off the board. They wanted Maxey. We know he's better, right? So they wanted their guys, but sometimes it doesn't shake out that way. You saw Lonzo went to the Bulls. What's happening with the Bulls? That tampering fines on Lonzo. Yep. That was a done deal before they could even. I don't even know how serious they were about him. But the point is, him going to Chicago was a done deal. To the point where Chicago got to pay for tampering. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to shoot this whole front office bail, but I mean, you got to give him credit for some things, and you got to wait and see on other things. It's been 2 years.
Yeah. And even with saying, like, Worldwide West, Leon Rose is supposed to get guys to the table, you have to show there's a product first before you get guys at the table. No one's just going to come say, oh, yeah, sure. I know you guys. Let me just come to the Knicks now because we can make it better. You got to show me that you're going to develop guys. You're going to have a good coaching staff, that you can actually win before I even get there. Because if I'm in a better situation right now, like say if you're talking about Dame Lillard, who's, even though it's not looking so great for the Trailblazers right now, all those other previous seasons that he's there, he can enter the season saying, I'm better off here than I'm better off in New York right now. They only had one good season. I've had a few years of success here in Portland. Why would I want to leave right now?
Are we gonna close it off with Will from LI? Will, you got 2 minutes, man. Rapid fire, Will. How you doing though? Oh man, he's always on the move.
Hey CP, hey Alex, how you guys doing?
Good,
Long
man.
time no talk.
What's going on, sound like you in an airplane or something, like a helicopter or something, man. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, I'm in the Uber coming back from outside. My bad, but no worries.
All
so
right.
I'm gonna try to make it quick.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. First off, everybody hit that thumbs up button, man.
Let's go.
Make sure that you show these guys that we appreciate what they do.
Facts.
Listen, man. I'm gonna agree slightly with Jay from Florida. Not to say that we should have been tanking or we should go back to tanking, because I feel like the fan base is gonna erupt if you do that, because I feel like we should have never went off of that route to begin with. But I digress. Listen, man. The biggest problem so far is Thibodeau. Okay, because what I agree with Jay is that he's losing the team. How are you gonna call out RJ, right, when Julius Randle, you haven't reined him in, not even a little bit. You're still giving him the ball at the end of the game, even though you know he doesn't make good decisions. You're not calling him out when he fails on his defensive assignments, and you're still letting him bring up the ball when it shows that it doesn't need it, right? And the issue with Julius, now I'm not on the trade Julius train, but I do think Julius should take a step back in the offense, because it's already shown that he is not that guy. He can't hit clutch free throws. But what I like about Julius is that he's durable. He's always there. He never gets injured. You could always count on him to be there, and that stands for something. Plus, I think his defense is pretty good. But the issue is, it's not just one player in Obi that's hurting with Julius. Another player is RJ, because CK said it a couple shows.
90 seconds.
Never see Julius and RJ have a good game at the same time. I don't know what it is. I think they play too much in the middle. I think they both need their lanes to get the foul calls. I don't know. But the fact that you got to treat Julius and RJ kind of like Sabonis and Turner, meaning that you can't play them at the same time, says something. You already paid Julius, and I already know that we're going to have to get rid of Obi, but I just want it to be at the right time and for the right piece. But regardless of the fact, you
60
call
seconds.
out RJ when you haven't called out Julius not once. So on that, I feel like it's Thibs. So, I mean, like, listen, I'm not going to be on the fire Thibs stuff, because I know that's just going to start instability and everything. But when it does come to the promised land of a championship, I don't think Tom Thibodeau's going to be the coach to get us there. I think
maybe not.
Coach way too often.
Maybe not, man. And
everything else.
Appreciate the call. I mean, look, Tom, he may not be that guy. He may be the stepping stone, and that's fine too. You know what I'm saying? That's fine too. He may not be that guy. And a lot of times when you're in a rebuild, a lot of times the guy that is a table setter isn't the guy that gets you to the promised land. Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr. You know, sometimes it just goes like that.
Dwayne Casey, Nick Nurse.
Dwayne Casey, Nick Nurse.
You know,
it is what it
or
is.
you can even say, who else? You can go Jason Kidd and Mike
Jason
Budenholzer.
Kidd, right. Yeah, Jason Kidd, right? Let's get to real quick. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's get to these Kemba comments real quick, and then we'll wrap up with the super chats. Let's get to Kemba here. What he has to say. Kemba did meet with the media today.
I mean, it was tough, obviously, because I'm a competitor. I love to play basketball. I love to be on the court, and this is the first time this has happened to me in my career, pretty much on any level. But at the end of the day, I'm a pro. I have respect for Coach Thibs and the decision he made. It might not have been an easy one, but it was a choice that he made. I have no choice but to live with it. I've always been a team guy first. It's not about me. It's about the team. So, if he feels that's what's going to make the team better, then so be it. I'm here for my teammates, and I'm here to help in any way, shape, or form that I can. So.
Were you kind of blindsided by it?
I mean, yeah. Anybody would have been, Like I said, I don't know if it was easy on his end or anybody's end. It's not a. That's not something really easy to tell anyone, So, yeah, you got to do hard things in life. Just have to. I could be pissed, I could be upset, but at the end of the day, there are some young guys here, who look up to me. Pretty sure they wanted to see how I reacted to the situation. And, anybody on my team down the line can be in the same situation. And, maybe I could be a role model in that aspect, Like I said, it was tough for me. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's just not about me. I'm a team guy first. I've always been. If you ask anybody who I've ever played with, always been a team guy first. So, yeah. I love being around my teammates, and I'm going to cheer them on until I can't anymore. That's what it's about.
All right, so that was Kemba, man. Tough situation, but handling it like a pro. Got to tip your cap to him, and respect him for handling it that way. Unfortunate situation, like I said. I don't think that the organization. I don't think there was a perfect way to handle it, but it's crazy because now we're sitting here looking crazy trying to figure things out, and you just iced him out of the whole mix. I don't know, man. The whole thing is just bizarre, but that's the Knicks for you, man. That's the Knicks for you, bro.
Well, Thibs did say for now, so he could always go back and be like, well, we tried it for now, and now we're coming back to it.
Yeah.
But no, when you listen to, you just hear how sad he is because one, he loves the game first and foremost. Two, he's a competitor. He wants to be out there. He wants to help this team be better. He's happy to be. We saw this offseason. He was happy to be home and happy to be playing for his hometown team.
Mm-hmm.
So that also has to hurt as well. And it just sucks, man, because we know about the arthritis in the knee. We know about the situation in Boston. We just want him to come here and have that just to be better than he was last season. Really, it was hard to expect him to have a full-on bounce back, but you would at least hope that we got something like 65 to 85% Kemba, and this team would be different. But the way that this team is constructed and how they want to run through Julius is just not meant for him to be there because he's not a full-on off-ball guy. Yeah, he's good at catch and shoot, but he's not known as a guy that plays without the ball in his hand. He's known as a guy that plays with the ball in his hand most of the time. He has the ball in his hand like 70, 80% of the time, and it's not that case here in New York. I think a role for him, and I discussed this on my podcast, is maybe he goes to another team and play the Derrick Rose role where he can come off the bench, attack second units, be that facilitator. But here on the Knicks, I don't know if he'll be traded. I can still see the Knicks keeping him around because you want that depth. Just because Derrick Rose can also get injured too, and he can come off the bench and slide right next to quickly and work with him. Sure, you give up some height, not the best defender, but still you have that veteran presence if you want to keep that unit, sound and somewhat fluent. But it's overall just a tough aspect.
Yeah.
Just tough for Kemba.
Yeah, man. Definitely wish him well, obviously, and again, things can change. You just never know what could happen over the course of an NBA season, man. You knock on wood, guys, stay healthy, but again, you just never know, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. This was Knicks Weekly, the weekly recap show where we talk about the orange and blue, man, the good, bad, and the ugly as it pertains to the Knicks. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for Knicks versus Spurs. Knicks down in the Alamo, first of a 3-game set on the road. Can they get back on track, man? Al, how you feeling about this road trip, man? We got the Spurs, then we are in Indy, at the Raptors, and then home against the Bucks, man. It's tricky 4 games. You know what I mean? Tricky 4 games. But what do you think about it?
Man, against the Spurs, I feel like Spurs have been winning the past couple games. They've shocked a few teams.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a game where the Knicks can get back on track. I feel like the Knicks are going to win this one. Pace is going to be a tough matchup, but I think that we're going to show up for that one too. And then Raptors and Bucks, that's where the question comes in for me. I'm not so confident about the Bucks, and the Raptors is just a toss-up for me.
Yeah. I think, look, man, the Spurs game is not going to be one to sleep on. Spurs game is definitely not going to be one to sleep on because this team has won 4 straight. And they're playing the Suns right now. I'm not sure what the score is right now, but they have some quality wins, man. They beat the Warriors. They just beat the Warriors. They beat the Blazers. Yes, no Dame, but they did beat the Blazers. They've beaten the Wizards, and they've beaten the Celtics. So, the Spurs are looking to get back on track. Can't sleep. Obviously, DeJounte Murray has been a problem for the Knicks these past couple of years. He's going to be looking to put pressure on the already porous defense. You got Derek White, who's been playing well. You got Bryn Forbes, who always seems to throw a dagger 3-pointer on the Knicks every chance he gets. So, can't sleep on that team. Obviously, Pacers are reeling. They're kind of in the same boat as us. They're soul searching. As you said, they benched Sabonis last night. He hasn't really been the same player. He's been a bit different player. But the Pacers still play as tough. Obviously, they've beaten us twice already. One where Miles Turner was looking like, I don't even know a play comparison. Just absolutely destroyed us. And then the one at home, we kept it close. But, Malcolm Brogdon, absolute problem for us. So they're going to be looking to get back on track. Let's see what happens there. Raptors, look, man, if you don't bring an A game against this team, we could get ran out the building. So we already lost to this team earlier this season. We got to come in and play our A game, man. Raptors are a nice team, nice young squad, well coached, well disciplined. So we're gonna have, and they got Siakam back. You got Scotty Barnes, the wing factory's on and popping. Van Fleet, all those guys. So and then obviously Sunday you got the champs, man. So this could very easily be an 0-4 week if we don't get things back on track. And so we'll see what happens. Everybody in the chat, man, throw your week predictions in the chat. What are your record predictions for the Knicks for this 4-game set this week? I'll go 2-2 just to keep it conservative. I think we knock off the Spurs at home. Back to back against the Pacers. Oof. I'm going for revenge. Up at the North. Let's go. 2-2. 2-2, man. I'm taking one from the Raps, and I think we can take the Spurs. That's where I'm going. Shout out to the Fishers. $10 super chat. He says, RJ PG resume is Alfred. Kemba of now. Hybrid Burks. RJ's yet to play with a competent playmaker. PG. Oh, point guard. He says RJ's point guard resume is Alfred. Kemba of now. Hybrid Burks. RJ's yet to play with a competent playmaking point guard. RJ slanders low IQ. Yes, he needs to step up as he does in Thibs and the rotations. As does Thibs in the rotations. Trade for a point guard. Maverick Silver, thanks for super chat. Ari says, sends a super chat, says it's not that the Knicks were trying harder last year, it's that the other teams are trying harder this year. Certainly possible. Papa171 says, let's start D Rose, put RJ on the bench. RJ will get more opportunities with the second unit, especially running the fast break. Starters are too slow. D Rose helps Randall with the playmaking. H and Ferg, he says, New York is this team's Achilles heel. The city's opening up, and dudes that probably aren't putting in extra work like last year. They drank the Kool-Aid. John Farley, appreciate that. Chris Dominate sends a super chat, says, Thibs needs to hold Randall accountable like everyone else. He can't be standing around on defense when he don't got the ball. Yeah, that's a fair point. You know, we don't necessarily know what they're saying, what's going on in the locker room in the film discussions, Al. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we could just go by, you know, what you see and hear on TV. Maybe those discussions are being had, but certainly Julius has to play better, as does RJ. You know, those are your top two guys. Those are your guys. They have to play better. There's just no doubt about it. They've regressed from last year. And this team's record is an indication of that. Let's see what happens. Still early, man. But my dude, great show. And we'll catch up this week, man. Great job as usual, bro.
For sure. Right back at you, bro.
Yeah, man. And for everybody else, remember this show is available in audio podcast format. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Alexa, all the major ones, so you don't need to miss it. Remember, man, go to manscaped.com, fellas. Tell your lady this is the Christmas gift you need. Go get that Lawnmower 4.0. Perfect package 4.0. They got a ton of products for today's man. #1 men's grooming tool below the waist. Supporting the #1 show for the fans by the fans, man. Manscaped.com. Promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. We will see you tomorrow night. Knicks in the Alamo. Knicks versus Spurs. See you guys tomorrow night, man.